The defining characteristic of the external sales and use tax process for the United States is the communication scenario that's set up between your SAP S/4HANA cloud system and your third-party tax partner system. In this video, and in the companion video on the purchasing process, we want to take you through a sample process flow and how you can see the information that you need for your sales and use tax calculation at various points in that process. And of course, in this video, we'll be focusing on the sales process. Taxable transactions in the U.S. require two pieces of information, the tax jurisdiction and the tax code. So naturally, we'll be focusing on where you can see these two pieces of information. Now, for the sales process, the jurisdiction code comes from the customer's ship-to address, which is what we'll be zeroing in on in this video. But do bear in mind that the ship-to address can differ from the sold-to address. Here's a basic sales and use tax integration flow from the seller's point of view. And let me mention briefly that you can click either of the two boxes in the top right to be directed to the product documentation on the SAP Help portal for the sales and use tax communication scenario or for the Manage External Tax Postings app. If they don't work because of the platform where you're viewing this video, you can use the QR codes too. Sales requires that sales orders and invoices reflect the tax applicability of each item and that the total tax due be calculated on each line item in the sales document. And this is true of both orders and invoices, so tax rates and tax amounts are going to be determined for each kind of document. There are several parameters that influence the tax amounts and the determination of tax rates. The most important ones are the delivering country, the taxability of the ship-to partner, the taxability of the material being shipped, the tax calculation date, the tax jurisdiction codes of the ship-to party, the tax jurisdiction codes of the ship-from address, and the tax jurisdiction codes of the point of order acceptance and point of order origin. Showing all of this would exceed the scope of this video, but let's have a look through a sample process flow to see where your tax information is shown. I should mention at the outset that we're not going through the sales sequence and creating new documents as examples. We're looking at existing sales documents, focusing on the tax information available and where you can see it in your system. So let's go through our sample process flow. Let's start with our business partner master data. First, our customer master specialist will open the Manage Business Partner Data app. Here we enter our business partner and select Go. Under Address, let's choose Address Details so we can drill down into these address details. Here, we need to choose Show More, and we can see the tax jurisdiction code right here. This is the code that our tax partner returned in response to the business partner address information shown here. We can also take a look at the tax jurisdiction information via the Message Dashboard. To do that, our configuration expert opens the Message Dashboard app, and I'll go ahead and select the date corresponding to the transaction that I want to look at. What I want to see is under the External Tax Determine Tax Jurisdiction Codes call, so I'll select the number for that service call in the Messages column. I need to go ahead and expand my structure, select my transaction, and then here. Under Location Data, I can scroll to the right a bit to see the address and tax jurisdiction information. Now, let's have a look at the sales order transaction. Let's start that off by logging in as our internal sales representative and opening the Manage Sales Order app. I'll enter a sales order number and open the order. Now let's select the Display Document Flow option. This shows the specific documents created as part of the sales process. The highlighted documents are where external tax was called, that is, where our system reached out to the tax partner's system, as was shown earlier in the diagram of the process. Now, there's another way to see this document flow. If I log in as the billing clerk, I can use the Display Billing Document app to access the document flow. Let me go ahead and select the Display Item Details icon, then select Conditions. And right here, here's my tax information. Now, with the business partner master data, we were looking at the jurisdiction code information, and here we're obviously looking at tax amounts. So that means we're talking about the tax calculation service call. Just as we could see the information our tax partner returned from the Determine Tax Jurisdiction Codes call, we can go back to the message dashboard to see the information our partner returned as part of the Calculate Taxes service call. Let's have a look here under the Partner tab. Here's what we need to see: the 4 partner functions required in a sales order, the sold to, bill to, and ship to parties, and the payer. This reflects the business partner master data that we saw earlier. Note that it's common for the 4 functions to be the same business partner, but it is possible for each function to be a different business partner. This is where partner functions are displayed for every sales order. Now let's take a look at this from the finance perspective. We can see all of the information that's relevant to our accounting journal entries through these processes. So let's log in as the GL accountant and start with the Manage Journal Entries app. And let's select our journal entry that we saw earlier. We'll open up that item, and here, under Line Items, here's the tax information broken down by jurisdiction level. As before, we can go back to the message dashboard to see the tax information that's communicated with our tax partner via the Calculate Taxes service call. In this case, we're looking for the tax ID, the TID, corresponding to our document. Here's our reference number. Let's have a look at one more thing. Let's copy our reference number for this journal entry, then log in as the GL accountant for the United States and open the Manage External Tax Postings app. I'll paste the reference document number, select Go, and then open the Tax Information Sent page for the corresponding sent record. Here, we can see all of the information that was sent to our tax partner for this journal entry. And if we head back and use the Sent Record ID to navigate to the Manage Journal Entries app, we're back to our journal entry. And there we have it. We've seen where you can see the tax information that you're sending to and receiving from your third-party tax partner as part of a completed sales process. Have a look at the companion video for the purchasing process to get a more holistic view of the external sales and use tax calculation process for the United States. Thanks for watching.